At the early hours of Saturday morning, residents in Maiduguri had explosions within the capital. Some of the launched missiles suspected to be fired by Boko Haram terrorists impacted on Ibrahim Abbas' house, a resident at Ayafe Street of Gomari Airport. The damages affected 3 houses in the vicinity and his car was burnt, but no one sustained any injury.
When it happened, we were inside the room and the kids are in the parlor. So we are awake around some minutes after 6. So we had 2 to 3 bomb blasts in the morning. So I wanted to make inquiry. I went to the room to pick my phone. So when I come back to the parlor, that's when the rocket launcher fell inside our compound. So before I realized everywhere is dusty. Yeah, it affected almost all the house. As you can see, the roof of the parlor is damaged. Then the ceiling, the suspension from the ceiling from all the rooms has been dropped, and it has caused some crack in the wall.
Other missiles landed on some houses in 1,000 housing estate. Residents say it happened at the hour of Fajr prayers.
Muka ji muna masallaci mun ji karan bom RPG ya fadi sai a guje muka bar masallaci muka zo sai a ci abun a gidanmu ya fada. Muna kira ga gwamnati ya sa ya kara kwazo akan wannan insecurity nan so da gaskiya abun yanzu is getting out of hand.
No casualties were recorded at the time the incident occurred. The incident had sparked tension among residents.
Well, there you have it. Very sad, very sad incidents there, showing, where we are as far as fight against insecurity is concerned in Nigeria and the Northeast in particular. Now, a lot of conversations are ongoing, and we have in the studio to give us perspectives on this issue, Mr. Stephen Okworie, and he'll be giving us perspectives. Now, but before we get, his response to these stories, let's have a rundown of, the Nigeria's budget on defense from 2016 till date. Now, in the past 6 years, at least 3.8 trillion naira has been budgeted, which is considered one of the highest in Africa. And then the total expenditure for that is about 831 billion naira, beg your pardon, about that's about 30%, of that amount. And then the rest of the amount, which is 3 trillion naira, goes into recurrent expenditure, talking about wages of, the personnel in the security architecture, and the allowances, training and other logistics needs, of our defense sector. Some are saying that, look, Nigeria is budgeting one of the highest on the continent, yet Nigeria is 3rd on the list of most terrorized countries in the world. Some are also saying, look, if you look at countries like Kenya, they are budgeting barely about 8% of their, budget defense to capital expenditure, yet they are somewhere around 23 on the list of terrorized countries in the world. So let's look at this irony. We have, like I told you, Stephen Okworie. Welcome to the program, and we're happy to have you in the studio.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Now, let's get your own thoughts, around what we are not doing right. What exactly is going on, despite all of this budgetary allocation, which some people consider very huge and taking quite a chunk, of our national budget in itself. What are we not doing right?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me once again. I want to believe that security anywhere in the world is not cheap. We have other countries outside the African continent where their budget is way, way higher than what we're seeing in Africa, or especially in Nigeria. But it's not about budget alone. It's about release. It's about how much gets to the security agencies in doing what they need to do. So I think it's for us to really look at how much is released and how it gets to them. And I think that it behoves on us to see that there's a system, a monitoring system in place, an accountable system in place that should monitor these releases as it gets to the security agencies.
If you say release,
yes.
Are you talking from Ministry of Finance,
yeah.
or are you talking from within the services? Because, Minister of Finance some time ago, during a kind of a hearing,
yeah.
By the National Assembly, disclosed that, and gave evidence of the releases that were made,
yes.
And re-emphasizing the fact that when it comes to security, they do not, release money haphazardly. They release completely. So, I mean, the records are there, isn't it?
Yes. What I'm What I'm saying is that we have to look at it from the basis. Yes, she has come to say that they don't joke with budgets that has to do with military or defense. That is one. We have to be very sure, because we've seen it in this country where they said like the number of percentage in budget that they have executed. We saw where there was this conflict of figures. The House of Reps said sometime that it was about 45%. The minister then under Okworie came and said it was over 45%. So we have to be very sure of this. If
there was anything to the contrary, I'm sure the military would have made that clear.
Yes, because even at that, the military still complain that monies does not get to them as at when due. There's this complaint coming from them. So outside that or beyond that, we have to look at a system where these releases are monitored. It's not just releasing it. Let us be sure that it gets to them, and they are really implementing the funds as it gets to them.
Who is supposed to do that? The National Assembly.
The National Assembly,
oversight function.
Yes, of course. But the fact is, are they doing the oversight function? If they are really doing it, yes. But I think they should go beyond just mere coming to television to tell us that they are doing it. They should be genuinely doing it.
Okay. Now, considering Nigeria's debt profile and the huge sum we put into insecurity in the country, well, some will say we're not really seeing results. What are we doing wrong?
I think that there's need for us to really go back to the drawing board. All hands must be on deck to see that the efforts we are putting will see results at the end of the day. It is not just mere talk. We should walk the talk. Are we really walking the talk? So, for me, we are not seeing results because the details of how to go about it, we are not really doing it. Are we implementing what we are supposed to do? If we're not, you cannot keep doing the same thing and you expect a different result. It's not possible. So what is it that we're not doing right? I expect that they should go back to their drawing board. I praise the period they have been working through their trainings, their operational activities and all that, and see where to change their strategy and tactics. So I think at this point we should stop reacting, because most times we react. We should stop reacting. We should be proactive about it.
What tactics are we not deploying?
Exactly.
We have seen disconnection of networks in some locations. We've seen massive deployments. We've seen the use of even female combatants. The use of our fighter jets and the rest of them. We've procured, the Super Tucano, fighter jets landed,
yes.
In Nigeria some time ago. So, what strategy are we missing, really? Is it the communication gadgets that we do not have? Is it enough troops on ground that we do not have? Or what exactly is the problem? Is it intelligence that we are lacking? Where are we missing it?
You see, when it comes to security, it is everybody's responsibility, both civilians. Now, if they are not getting results in what we have listed here, I think they should go beyond that. How well are they involving the civilians? These are one of the strategies. How well are they involved? Because their presence cannot be everywhere. Because their numbers is very, very low that they cannot be everywhere. It's not possible for us to have every security presence in all the communities that we have in this country. So I think that they should go beyond that. They should see how to involve.
Well, at least we can have some form of surveillance.
Right.
Yes. Surveillance, yes, but how?
But we have situations where bandits, for instance, will operate for hours.
Yes.
And then there will be no response from the security apparatus that we have.
That's
You know, some weeks ago, I recall there was an attack along the Kaduna-Abuja highway,
Yes.
where for 4 consecutive days,
Yes.
there were attacks on the same road. 4 straight days, back to back. So what happened?
That's where the will now comes in. You know, it goes to show that something is wrong somewhere. And that's the reason why I called for them to see how to re-strategize and go about getting results. Because it's not possible for us to have attacks consecutively on Abuja-Kaduna Road for 4 days without intervention from the military or the police.
Can't we see, deployment of, like, say, technology, to curb all of that?
Yes, technology is key in fighting this. But how well are we prepared to implement technology? You know, some people suggest that there should be CCTV cameras on the highways and all that. What if these attacks happened at night? How do you now view what happened or transpired at night? You know? So I think, for me, I'm an advocate of vigilante. And I feel that it is important, and the time has come for the government to see how to internalize or institutionalize vigilante into the security architecture of this country. Because this is not about ego. It's not about the police or the military taking glory. I think the goal is one, it's common, to see that Nigeria is safe and secure.
So if you talk about vigilante, it's also something that some people say is synonymous to talking about state policing and all of that kind of arrangement. Are you for, state policing? Why do we need to do that now?
I look at vigilante different entirely from state police. Because...
Or community policing, rather.
Community policing is a strategy by the Nigerian police. How the Nigerian police can synergize with people living within their communities to see how to protect lives and property. So it's a strategy from the Nigerian police, So how do you now implement that for it to be effective? You need the locals, local hunters. You put them together. Then they'll be under the supervision of the Nigerian police. You put up stakeholders within these communities where you bring on board the traditional rulers, religious leaders, and all that. For them
but I think we are already doing that. So we have, for instance, the civilian JTF in Borno State, where this very last attack happened.
Yes.
Civilian JTF in Borno. And in some other states, like in the southwest, you have the Amotekun now that, has also come to say, which also takes the form of what you are talking about.
Yes. But it's not happening in all the states in the federation. But if you look at the JTF, are we not getting results? They are aiding the military in seeing how to combat or mitigate insecurity in Borno and Yobe State. Even in the southwest, the Amotekun too are trying their best to see how they make their job effective. And so let me come back to the Kaduna-Abuja highway now, for instance. You have about 36 communities on that road. On that stretch of road, you have about 36 communities. What is wrong with synergizing with the military and the police, coming on board, fish out, harness some young, able-bodied youths from those communities and let them be on the road as well?
Perhaps they are afraid of, joining that because
have they even tried?
Some of these bandits, they live on the bushes around the forest around,
yes.
Those,
But don't forget that the bandits too are also scared. So when they see that there are things happening on the road, security-wise, they will be scared to even operate. But when they come to the road and they see that the road is very free, it's free for them to do whatever they want to do, and they begin to strike. So let us have something like that, So with vigilante, we can have security presence in every community we have in this country. You train them, tell them what to do. But are we even doing that? I have not seen where the IG of police that is in charge of internal security talking with the Commandant General of Vigilante in this country. They have relegated them, but we are seeing the efforts they are making. We have seen where Vigilante rescued police officers from kidnappers then. So I feel that there's need for them to synergize and work together. With that, we will get results, and it will make the community policing strategy effective.
All right, now let's talk about, the other guests we had here. We talked about, global politics,
yes,
in terms of, acquiring hardware and other equipment and all of that. Is Nigeria enjoying as much cooperation from the international community in respect to that?
Yes, I want to say very recently we started enjoying all that. You know, it took a while before the Super Tucano that we procured came, you know. So there was this, you know, ban on us not obtaining or acquiring those hardwares from foreign land. But when the President Buhari came on board as president, he paid a visit to the then U.S. President Trump, you know, and I think he convinced him beyond reasonable doubt the reasons why the American government should allow us procure hardware such as that, you know. So I want to believe that we are getting that cooperation, because I've seen where Pakistani's chief of defense staff came into Nigeria, had some fruitful discussions with our own chief of defense staff and all that. So I think that the cooperation is there, and the way we are doing now, because there's this issues of human rights and all that, killing innocent people, you know, and all that. But I think we have tried to see how to convince this Western world that we are not doing that. We're actually looking out for criminals and bandits in this country.
You know, talking about, you know, procurement of hardware and all of that, in your assessment, would you say Nigeria is winning the fight? Are we really winning the fight?
Yes, I would say we are winning the fight when we begin to look at it comparatively. You know, before now, we saw how far suicide bombings was on in this country, to the point that even in Abuja, we weren't sleeping on our two eyes closed. But I would say that comparatively, we are winning the war in that area, or that aspect of trying to combat, you know, suicide bombing, you know. But on the other side, like kidnap and all that, bandits operating and all that, I don't think we are winning that on that side of it, because we're experiencing an increase in that area, you know. So when you look at it comparatively, we are winning in some areas and we're not winning in some areas. So there's need for us to sit up and double our efforts.
Okay, another thing that has remained a huge challenge is the issue of arms proliferation, you know, in the country. How easy it is for people to, you know, have arms. You know, our other guests talked about how bandits, you know, just easily cross over to the other side, you know, of the country and get arms. And talking about how porous our borders are. I mean, just only about over 80 borders that are actually manned by security officials, while you have other thousands of routes that, you know, people can actually use for illegal activities. How do we manage, you know, our borders to guarantee security from there? In fact, preventing the arms from even entering into the country.
It's a huge tax, but there's a way we can go about it. You know, in all the borders that we have in this country, there are communities there. There are communities there. So it brings us to the point where I talked about vigilante, local hunters. You know, when you entrust them with certain powers, you know, they can carry out some, at least not, even if they don't do it 100%, at least they can do it to a reasonable level where we can see that these arms don't come in the way they are coming in, you know. So it's for us to, the military security agencies and all that, to see how to work in synergy with these communities that are around our borders, you know, by harnessing this same group of boys that I'm talking about. And moreover, we have people that have retired from the military or the police, that retired and went back to their villages. They have this experience too. So they can work in synergy with these people that are retired, you know, and see how we at least reduce drastically the inflow of illegal arms and ammunition coming into this country. That is another aspect. And you see, I don't want to say, but I have this belief that some of our military officers or something are compromising the job that they're doing, you know, because how can we have such arms? Imagine that in Nigeria we have ISWAP having jets, gun trucks, drones, and they are operating in this country. How did they come in? So something is wrong somewhere. There are saboteurs doing this thing, allowing these things to happen. So until we rise to the occasions as citizens of this country, you know, and we must imbibe that integrity in us. Integrity is doing what is right when nobody is watching you. Do we have citizens like that that are doing what is right when nobody is watching them?
So can we say people don't have that integrity because we've lost, confidence in the government?
Yes, they lost confidence in the government, even those that are even in leadership position. Because I feel that once you are saddled with an office or a responsibility to protect this country, you are in a leadership position. And there are some of them that are compromising, whether we like it or not. Because we have seen where somebody importing arms from Nigeria was arrested. He confessed how he was aided by the military, the army, So I think that we need to see how to improve on their remuneration, boost them, so that they shouldn't look elsewhere. But as citizens of this country, they are not even what they give to them, they feel they are not okay with it. So they begin to look elsewhere to see how to make ends meet.
All right, now let's talk about, regional cooperation. We have the multi-joint task force, team, that, bring together security forces from the neighboring countries.
Yeah.
How much are we doing in that respect? Sometimes you really wonder. That one of the recent attacks in the neighboring communities is the one in Taraba State, where even a chief was killed, and all of that. So you find that these militia groups, this separatist group, the suspected Amazonian soldiers, have some kind of linkage with each other. In fact, they are in alliance with the IPOP, and all of that. Are we ourselves cooperating enough to make sure that it is even, it doesn't even cross the boundaries? So for instance, you have Niger on the other side. You have arms coming in from Niger. You have arms coming in from Chad. What happened to their own security apparatus as well? Are they also, battling the same things here?
You see, the idea about the multinational joint task force, the idea started when Boko Haram came on board, because Chad, Niger, and Cameroon, they are also affected. So the military of these countries constitutes the multinational joint task force. So each country's military is supposed to perform its own function or duties surrounding that, alongside the borders and all that. But I don't think they are doing that. If Chad shares border with Nigeria and arms are coming in through Chad into Nigeria, then something is wrong somewhere with the Chad military or Chad security as well. Like, for instance, with the Taraba issue that you mentioned, they came in through the Cameroonian borders too now. So if the Cameroonian security are doing what they are supposed to do, that attack wouldn't have happened. But they came via speedboat to commit that attack. I expect that before now there should be something like a naval base, just the way we have in the Lake Chad area, because this attack is not even the first attack on that community. So that's where I talk about we as a country being proactive. Once you establish a naval base there, it brings a military presence in that border or that region. So these are things that we need to rise to the occasion to see that we do as a country. So I expect that the military should be up and doing. They shouldn't just be there thinking that they are winning these challenges. They are not winning it, because we need to rise to the occasion. They shouldn't be complacent at all.
All right. All right, let's take a quick break now, and then when we come back, the show will continue. Please stay with us.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
All right, thank you for staying with us. You're watching Daybreak, reaching you live from the nation's capital in Abuja, and we have in the studio Stephen Okworie. He's a security expert, giving us perspectives on recent happenings as far as the country's security is concerned. Now, let's talk some more about some of the efforts that are being made, to fight this. A lot of people have raised concern about, the workforce that we have as insufficient, the troops on the ground and all of that. But if you look at the military, you look at other security agencies like the NCDC, the police, the immigration, customs, and all of that. Do you also buy in that narrative?
Very well. I key into it. But the workforce is very, very low. Too low when you compare the number to the population that we have in this country. We're over 200 million. And when you look at it, the police is about just 371,000 in number. So, and the UN recommendation for a police per number of citizens is supposed to be one police officer to like 350, 400 max to citizens. But when you take out the calculation now, you see that a police officer is going to almost 800 to 900 per citizens in this country. And when you begin to take out from the 371,000 that we have, the numbers that have gone to protect our public office holders and all that, and the churches and everything that we have, protecting them, then how many do we have left that is protecting you and I? So on that, that is grossly inadequate. When it comes to the military too, of course, it is not enough. So there's need for the government to recruit more.
But if you say recruit more, how do we cover for the spendings? I mean, if you recruit more, it means, you would have to pay more salaries. And from what we are seeing already, yes, the numbers are already hitting the ceiling, the skies, if you may, in terms of our budgeting for security and defense.
The government is not that poor that it cannot recruit more and be able to pay. Security anywhere in the world is not cheap. I said it earlier. It is not cheap. So the government has the capacity to pay, recruit more and pay. We're talking about lives here. And we are saying that we are not getting results because the manpower is not adequate. So there's need for us to recruit more, whether we like it or not. And all these security agencies, they have their mandates, they have their functions, So there's need for us to recruit more. You have the NCDC, their job is to see how to protect government infrastructures and all that. Are they doing that? They're not even doing that. The number is not even enough.
So would you say we have young Nigerians willing, to join Nigeria?
We have a lot. We have a lot. I was conferred a fellowship award on by the Nigerian Army Resource Center 2 weeks ago, and I posted the picture on my Facebook page, and some other social media handles that I have. And some people now saw me, and I will tell you that quite a number tried to reach me to see how I will, give them the opportunity to join the Nigerian Army, So we have quite a number of them that are eager to join, So we don't have, they're not scared of joining at all. So we should create that opportunity for them to come and join, So what I would like
to even such persons, do they get the opportunity to join? Right. Because that's also another important factor here. Even when there is opportunity for recruitment, even when recruitment is going on, the recruitment process itself, just like our former other guest, mentioned here, that sometimes even people with the passion and the zeal and to join the force do not have the opportunity to do so.
And you see, that is the problem we have in this country. People that have passion for the job, such jobs, they are not given opportunity. Most people now join the security agencies because of lack of job. They've gone to look for jobs either in banks or somewhere, and they were unable to get. The next thing, they begin to fall back to see how to join the military or the police. They don't have passion for the job. And what, as they are coming in, what comes to their mind first is to see how to make money. So you see, politics has entered into the security circle. Professionalism has been relegated. People that are fit to join the job or be saddled with one office promotions or find themselves in one key position to do the job are not doing it because people lobby for such positions. Meanwhile, as you develop, build yourself in your career, you know your CV is supposed to give you such position, but it doesn't even happen like that now. So politics has enveloped the whole system, which is wrong. When you bring politics into security, I think it's the greatest mistake we have made in this country. And that's why I fault the Minister of Interior and the Minister of Police Affairs. How will you have such people manning ministries like that has to do with internal security without a security background?
Now, what's the way out? I mean, we've highlighted quite a number of challenges, you know, that we deal with. In your final thoughts, what's the way out for Nigeria's security situation?
You see, it's not about ego. Every security agency has its own mandate, function. You see, the police wants to take over the job of the DSS, or the army wants to take over the job of the police. They should be saddled with their responsibilities, and they should know that they are supposed to synergize, collaborate to see how Nigeria is safe and secure. It's not about any ministry or any agency taking the glory. It's a common goal, and all that they should try and see how to put themselves together. Because there's this tussle, whether we like it or not, you know, amongst themselves, trying to see how to take glory for one success or the other. But the fact remains that it's a common goal. They should synergize to see that Nigeria is safe and secure.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming to the program. We've been speaking with Stephen Okworie. He's a security expert, giving us perspectives on Nigeria's security situation. Thank you again. Hopefully you join us again.
Thank you very much for having me.